One of the things that I really want to make clear is the fact that Identity Sunday is not about trying to show a group of people who they are. So makes
we will get down. We will get
One of the most striking things that I heard was that right above the dungeons in which male captives were kept was a church. And that reminds us that sometimes we can tolerate and stand by great evil even as we think that we're doing good.
Makes it feel like some of us already know who we are, and we've already got it all locked down, and we know exactly where what is, and we are now directing people that, listen, this is where you are from, or this is where you are, or this is who you are. No. Identity Sunday is all about all of us coming together, all of us working together, all of us researching to find our identity, because the misconception is that because you are in Africa, you know who you are and you know where you're from. I'm telling you, there are more Christians in Africa than anywhere else in the world. And you cannot be a Christian and know who you are. It's just as simple as that, because Christianity is a deception that is engulfed in another deception, right? So how are you going to know who you are if what you are in is deception? You understand? So most of us lost our identity, or most of our people, whether they are in the diaspora or they are in the African continent, lost who we are. And by the Spirit of our fathers and by the Almighty, the Most High Creator, He is now waking all of us up to bring us and connect us and cause us to navigate our way through the lives to come back to where you are, or to come back to where we're from or who we are. And that's basically what Identity Sunday is all about. Like, all of us waking up to that realization that we've been lied to. Whether you're in Africa, whether you're in the diaspora, we have been lied to. And it's time all of us to wake up to identify or to find our identity. And that's just what we are doing.
Here, I want to show you a very, probably for the first time you will ever see it in public. I've gone into my deep archives of antiquities, and I'm going to show you a celestial map. When I say celestial, from the heavens, and I will show you at the same time on earth of how Ghana is under the cross of the universe. And I literally mean cross. As it is in heaven, so shall the kingdom be established on earth. So let me show you that first. And you will see this was taken by a satellite of the Southern Cross up in the heavens, in space, and how, which way we go? Yeah, the Southern Cross, you see, and you will see below the longitude and the latitude on Earth. And you will see on the West African sector of the continent where Ghana is, that it crosses longitudinal and latitudinal, and it aligns directly in the sky with the constellations of the zodiac of our sun and the planetary bodies that are crossing during the winter solstice now. This event only happens every year between December 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And the sun sits over Ghana, literally stands still over Ghana for 3 days, and then the Son of God rebirths itself and rises by 1 degree to go back north on a trajectory to bring summer and all of the bliss of warmth to the northern hemisphere. And then on around September, it starts a voyage again back down towards Ghana. And so what I am saying, and all the reverend ministers who are learned in the Bible, I want you to know where the sun sits over the land, where you have the celestial cross from heaven that links up with the longitude and the latitude cross on earth. That is the house of God. It is the house of God on earth.
Aquaba simply means welcome. So the question I want to ask today is that, has the Creator, or did the Creator have a plan all along? Did the Creator have a plan all along? Did he lose his plan? I mean, from last week's episode, we know without a doubt that the black race is the first man created and is the first man to populate the entire earth, right? So has the black man always been the pivot in the Creator's idea, or this is all just coincidental? And if the black man has been the pivot of the Creator's idea, then where is this idea going? Is this idea heading to a place where we all come to realization that, oh boy, this is the Creator's plan, or this idea is just scattered all over the place and by chance, or we would come into these ideas? Even the subject of a nation is the subject of a nation and more than idea, or it's an ancient idea that the Creator always had a plan to have a nation. The idea of a nation is not that which the Creator intended. The Creator never gave any name to any nation. The Creator never gave name to any nation. It was all about establishing a kingdom. And when I say establishing a kingdom, it simply means is that a group of people who knew who they were, who understood each other, coming together to form a place of abode, to form a place of abode. So that is where this whole idea of kingdoms, mind you, even when you go to the scriptures, the Creator was never into this kingdom, that kingdom, a king ruling and all of that. No, it was just a group of people communicating with each other, abiding with each other, loving each other, supporting each other, and fighting for each other and loving each other, right? So this clearly tells us that whether it be a kingdom or a nation, the Creator never really intended to have anything of that sort. But as men populated the face of the earth and territorial fight started coming in, everybody was claiming territory and everybody was claiming that this is mine, that is mine, that is mine. And this is the whole concept of a nation. Another thing most of us need to wake up to is the fact that the Creator never wanted to identify ourselves with a particular nation. The Creator always wanted to identify ourselves with Himself. So our, lack of a better word, God consciousness was the main objective of the Creator. So the Creator never intended that, listen, I'm going to create this nation and that nation will be here and this nation will fight each other and that nation will fight this. No, the Creator intended that His creation would be in unity. Do you think animals go about thinking, I'm Canadian, I'm German, I'm from France, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Egyptian? No, they don't. They just enjoy the particular location that they find themselves in and make the best out of that location. So this whole identity of a nation, that people are bet into this idea that you got to identify yourself with a nation, is so current, is so modern. This was not the plan of the Creator. So today, I want to talk a bit into where Jerusalem is. And I'm not here to speculate. I'm not here to pull up concept from nowhere. No. I want to try as much as possible to show evidence of everything that I'm saying. And these are not evidences that myself and the team have come together and say, okay, let's show this. No. These are evidences that are out there, public knowledge, public information, that you can get to know it yourself. It's not far. It's not far. These evidences are out there. So I try as much as possible in my pursuit for the truth, stay in tune with the evidences that are available to us. The scripture makes us understand that the Most High said, I believe in Exodus 8:22, the Most High said, I would be in the midst, in the middle of you. I would abide in the middle of you. I would dwell in the middle of you. I would dwell in the center of you, in the middle of you, in the center part. So if in the midst, most versions say midst, the ancient versions say center, in the midst, the center of you. I would dwell in the center of you, right? In the midst of you. So if you want to take that on face value, it literally means is that the Most High is going to be in the middle of all of this, in the middle of all these nations, in the middle of all creation. If this idea was just here and was just misplacement of word, the word was just missed and not centered, and people are just playing with words, or translators are just playing with words, then this concept of the Most High being or identifying himself to the center of it all shouldn't be anything to write home about. It should just get thrown out of water, right? But the problem is, when we go to Ezekiel, the prophet also mentions the same thing. And hence, mentioning the same thing reveals the location of Jerusalem. Ezekiel 5, verses 5, he says what? This is what the Father says, Father Yahweh says. This is Jerusalem. So this is not my own words. This is Jerusalem. I have set her in the midst of the nations. Listen, let me not get too excited. I'm just starting. This is Jerusalem. I have set her in the center, in the midst of the nation. So you see that the same word, in the midst of the nation. So when we go to Exodus 2:22, it means that the Most High dwelleth in the midst of the people. In the midst meant the same thing that the prophet is saying in Ezekiel, that in the center of the nation. In the center of the nation. So I've set her in the midst. Her. So this nation is supposed to be a feminine spirit. Everything I'm saying makes so much sense if you understand where I'm coming from and the things that are coming up in the head, right? I will set her in the midst of the nation with countries all around her. With countries all around her. I will set her in the midst of the nations with countries all around her. So meaning this Jerusalem is a feminine spirit, her. Right? So wherever or whichever this people or this place, this Jerusalem got to be, that place has to be a feminine spirit. She has changed my judgment into wickedness, and more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that are around her. For they rejected my judgment and my statute, and they would not walk in them. It goes on and on how they have rejected the Most High and gone after these gods and all of that and that and this is going to happen to them. Where was this at that time? Where was this? Because obviously the prophet is not talking about a current place or a futuristic place, because it was talking about the fact that at that time the people had what? Had spoken against the Most High and has turned against his judgment. So therefore, these people were going to be scattered. That was the promise of the Most High. But then at the time of the prophecy, when we go to Exodus 8:22, it tells us that these people were in the center of it all at the time. It tells us that these people were in the center of it all at the time. So, where was this at the time in history? Was Israel, as we know it, ever the center of the earth at any point in history? Every time we talk about a creator, everybody attributes to, oh, it's talk about Israel, 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 because they are the ones that know, right? So if the prophet, these two prophets, Moses and Ezekiel, are all saying that the Most High dwells in the center of it all, in the center, it means that this place, if it's Israel, had to be at a point in time the center of it all. But here's the case: Israel, or the nation, whether ancient, present day Israel, has never been the center of it all. It has never been the center of it all. So therefore, wait, who are we talking about again? Or who is this prophetic word talking about? Right? Geographically, we can see clearly that Israel is nowhere. I mean, it's a little close. I mean, to be fair, it's a little close. But has never been, the present day Israel has never been the center of the world and would never be. Right? So, where can we find this location at the time these two prophets were speaking? Well, the only obvious answer is this nation that everybody has deemed or acclaimed to be cursed. Okay. So if we talk about this nation, then what's the name of this nation? Egypt. Which is more than a modern terminology. The ancient name is Kema, or what most people know as Kemet. Right? Kema meaning the people of the sun. Right? The people of the sun. And I'll come back to the subject of the sun later. So, probably in the next episode. So, let's go and geographically try to locate where Egypt was at the point in history. Was Egypt ever in the center of the world? And our maps, as you see on the screen, is showing clearly and boldly that at a point in history, Egypt was the center of the world. So, could this Egypt be the reference that the prophet was making, that the nations will be around you? Is it possible that this could be the reason why Egypt was the hub of civilization, was where civilization broke out from? Is this possible? Is it possible that this Egypt that we're referring to is actually a people of the Most High, the Kema people, what you know as Egypt or Kemet? Could they be the people of the Most High that the scripture is talking about? Could they be? Well, that would be mind-boggling, because a lot of people always look at Egypt as the cursed nation, which is really funny though. But as we can see clearly now, Egypt is right in the center of the world at this time, at a point in history. If that is the case, what then becomes of Egypt? Is this the reason why the Most High said, Egypt is my inheritance? Wait a minute. Why did he say, Egypt is my inheritance? Was he referring to the land Egypt as my inheritance, or the people that were dwelling on the land of Egypt as my inheritance, that these people are my inheritance? Like I said the other day in one of the videos, a people is that which makes the land don't make the people. The land becomes holy because the people on the land are holy. When the people on the land are filthy, the land becomes filthy. So therefore, the inheritance that the Most High is talking about is obviously not the land, because he created it anyway, and not just that location. He created everything that exists around it. So obviously, the Most High was not referring to the land, but the people that occupied the land. So therefore, it means that wherever these people were or found themselves, they would always be in the center of it all. Man, I'm just getting warmed up, right? The Most High clearly told his prophet exactly where Jerusalem was at the time, and told them he would rain his fury on them. So let's look at something very interesting in Ezekiel 11:14 to 20. Again, the word of the Most High, Yah, came to me, saying, Son of man, your brothers, even your brothers' duty, bound to redeem your body and property, and all the house of Israel in its entirety are they upon whom the people of Jerusalem have said, Get away from Yahweh. This land has been given to us to possess it. The people will come and say this. Because of this, say, this is what the Most High Yah says. Although I have cast them afar off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet I would be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they have gone. So it means that, yet though I've scattered them amongst the countries and among the nations, yet I will still be in the midst of them. Yet I will still stay in the midst of them. Yet I will still be found in the midst of them. Right? And I still protect them and shield them. And it's the reason why wherever we went, in as much as we were in the baddest locations in terms of us being mistreated and all of that, there was always glimpse of hopes every time. There was always glimpse of hope every time. Why these glimpses of hope? Because Most High made a covenant and promise that I would be in the midst. I will set up little sanctuaries among you. Therefore, say 17. This is what the Father Yah says. I would gather you from the people and collect you from the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. So don't forget, the names have been played with and miscued, right? So it means that these original names still exist, and these original nations still exist. And they will come there. So they will come back to this land, the center of the... And there will take away all the detestable things and its abominations from there. And I will give them one heart, and I will put a spirit of renewal within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from their body. So the heart of stone is basically the reason why our people are not waking up or not believing. The reason why our people are in disbelief. The reason why our people keep looking elsewhere for salvation instead of looking within themselves and trying to listen to the spirit that is pulling them back to the place of their inheritance. Move the heart of stone from their body, and I will give them a heart of flesh, so they may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinance and do them. And they would be my people, and I will be their father. So the Most High basically promising that, listen, I've scattered you and all of that, but I would bring you back to this land, that I will make sure this land is purified, protected, and secured, and I will make sure this land is a land for you. But wait a minute, if that land is destroyed, the center of the earth, and you are going to bring us back into the center of the earth, then wait, are you going to take us back to the same place? Or this Jerusalem that you're talking about, the center of the earth, is going to be a place for us, but still the center of the earth? Where is the center of the world today? Because wherever the Most High is going to be, it's got to be the center. He is going to be in the midst of them all. So where is the center of the world today? Anyways, when we check our longitude and latitude, the center of the world should be located easily with modern technology. So the question of where the center of the world today is basically, as we see it on the screen now, where the latitude and the longitude are meeting. This basically becomes the center of the world. Where could this place be? Who are occupying this current location? Because from the look of this, where the equator and the meridian meet is the center of the earth. So where is the center of the earth now? As Ezekiel 5:5 is talking about, the place that the Most High is going to bring his children back. Well, per the screen, we can see clearly where the center of the earth is. Could it be, or could this be the house of the Most High, the dwelling place of the Most High? Could this place be the place that the Most High has promised to be, and the nations surround it? Could this place be, could she be the place that the prophet is talking about? Remember, I told you that it's a she. Where this place meet is a place called modern Ghana. Yes. Modern Ghana is the center of the world. And as the prophet was saying, modern Ghana is funny enough, but it's called Ama Ghana. Modern Ghana is called Ama Ghana. Why is modern Ghana called Ama Ghana? It's because the people of the modern Ghana believe Ghana belongs to the Saturday God. That she is a daughter of the Saturday God. Therefore, it's called Ama Ghana. Ama is the feminine name given to the Saturday borns. So, in Ghana, the Saturday is called Memeneda, which is the day of rest, the day of Sabbath, the Sabbath day. So, is it a coincidence that the country modern Ghana is also called Ama Ghana, and the prophet said she. Anyway, let's listen to something. I'll be right back.
Ghana is the center of the world. The ministry did not say it. It is where the Greenwich Meridian and the people of the United Kingdom and the world are saying. It was determined by the authorities and powers of this world at a meeting which took place almost a century before Ghana became a nation. Ghana is the center of the world. And as a ministry, in collaboration with Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, the Tema Golf Club, and the Tema Community One Presbyterian Church, under the auspices of GTDC, we intend to make and market this phenomenon to the world and within our nation. We know that religiously, this is a seller. Already, people are finding their way to the Presbyterian Church at Tema to pray at the center of the world. Our first president, Asajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, used to embark on pilgrimages to that part of Tema once a year for a spiritual retreat. We believe that with good marketing, globally and locally, people could be attracted to have their weddings at the center of the world, set up businesses and advertise their good works which are manufactured locally at the center of the world. And we will link up, which we have already initiated. We were in the UK to have a very lengthy meeting with the Greenwich Meridian, and there is so much that we could benefit from this association.
Who is occupying present-day Ghana? When I say who, I know there are people, but who are these people? Where did they come from? How did they all of a sudden get to the middle of the entire show? Who are these people now? Where are they coming from? Could this be the same people that were living in the center of the earth in the ancient times, could the people in modern day Ghana be the same people in ancient Egypt, the people that the Most High says that they are my inheritance? In Isaiah says what? Egypt is my inheritance. Egypt those days was in the center of the world at the time. Now there's a group of people that are also living in the center of the world this current day, and these people are as black as the people in ancient Egypt. Could they be the same people? The answer is yes. Wait a minute. So the people in present day Ghana are the same people in ancient Egypt, are the same people who built ancient Egypt, are the same people that civilization started from, are the same people that astronomy started from, are the same people that astrology started from, are the same people that medicine started from, are the same people that architecture started from, are the same people that the Most High said, I will be in your midst. Well, the answer is yes. These are the same people. Wait, then how did they move all the way from the north down here? And that is exactly what I'm going to teach you the next week. I'm going to show you how these ancient people, ancient Kemet people, ancient Kemet people moved from their land and was displaced into this land. And when they got to this land, they were scattered across the face of the earth. Are we seeing prophecy unveiled right before our eyes? Is it also another coincidence that before the scattering to the corners of the earth, that they had to come through Ghana? Is there a coincidence that the promise was that I will scatter you across the face of the earth? Deuteronomy says it. Genesis says it. Right? That I will scatter you across the face of the earth. So could it be that this scattering that Genesis 15:13 spoke about and Deuteronomy 28 also spoke about, could this be that this scattering happened right here in this modern nation, Ghana? That out of this country, everybody in the diaspora was scattered.
You can see the door of no return. I will explain everything here. You just go there, have a look, and come in. That's the door of no return. But the door was very, very small and narrow, which was built for one person at a time. So they will go through one after the other, put them on boats, and that was the end of it. Did not come back again. But the door was made bigger like this during colonial times. We happened to go to the Elmina Castle. Elmina has the original door of no return. This one has been changed. And if you go through the door of no return as a black person, during the time of slavery, one, you will lose your identity. You lose your culture. You lose your respect. You lose your dignity, everything. And from here, most of the captives were taken to North America, United States. Places like Jamestown in Virginia, North and South Carolina, Louisiana and others. Some went to England, Liverpool. And Liverpool was the biggest slave harbor in the whole of Europe as at that time. Others went to Bristol, Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, including Jamaica from here. When the British took it over with the Spanish, they took some to Jamaica. But those taken to Brazil, Brazilians passed through Elmina Castle, through the hands of the Portuguese, because Brazil was a Portuguese colony. Some of the Brazilians were taken from Angola, East Africa. If you talk about Suriname, Haiti, Dutch Guyana and others also passed through Elmina Castle, through the hands of the Dutch. And Brazil received the largest number of slaves from Africa. Brazil got 47% of the entire slaves from Africa. And Brazil is the second largest black population in the whole world, second to Nigeria.
pushed to the back. You don't see it in the media.
Don't mind them.
They're pushed to the back.
You said they don't appreciate it.
They're pushed to the back. You don't see those in
Exactly.
Brazil.
You don't see.
No.
You don't see it. And some of them are claiming that they are not Africans.
No,
Whether they go to their home and back, they are still Africans. No matter we know them.
National, high level, high impact. The duo of the Turns family. We are coming back. Reconnection as I've been
So take
laid.
your pictures, briefly take your pictures first.
So wait. Is this all coincidental that the Most High said that I'm going to scatter you, and the place where the scattering began is the very place he said I would be, and is the very place he said I will return you?
To me, there's no such thing as a black woman in Ghana. I'm a woman in Ghana.
Living in the US, all of the seats are taken, all the big brands are there, and here you have an opportunity to create a seat at the table.
It's significant to know where you belong and where you came from.
This is Cape Coast Castle. It was one of the most important African bases for British slave traders during the 18th century. Historians believe at least 12 million people were shipped from West Africa to plantations in the Americas and the Caribbean.
As we walk down the dungeons, this is the real dungeon in Ghana.
I never thought I would make this trip. Never, never. My sister and I are the first generation to make it here. And it's just truly amazing. Truly amazing.
For Angela and her sister, the trip to the castle and its dungeons holds a special meaning. They recently took a DNA test and discovered that they are of Ghanaian heritage, meaning their ancestors may have been held in these cells.
I'm so grateful to be here and to be here with my ancestors. It gives me a great joy and I feel like I'm home.
And thank you and gratitude to every ancestor of my bloodline. Thank you for being strong enough to make it. I'm sorry you had to go through this.
This place is very saddening to see how they were treated. So inhumane. I mean, who would do that? Why? Money? It's just very saddening.
Enslaved Africans were pushed through the door of no return and onto waiting ships. For many, it would be the last time they would see the continent.
Being here, taking my shoes off, getting into the water, the Atlantic Ocean, I felt at peace, I felt at home. I felt like all of my ancestors, we were reunited, and it was just a wonderful feeling.
In Genesis 15, 13 to 14, it reads, "Then he said to Abraham, know certainly that your descendants will be scattered across, your descendants will be strangers in the land, not their own. Your descendants will be strangers in the land, not their own. They would be enslaved, and they would afflict them for 400 years. This is ancient text. I don't want to go into it, but this was not just written in the Bible, but was written in the papyrus, the ancient script. The figure was specific, 400 years. Could it be? Okay. But a nation enslaving them, I would judge, and afterwards they will come out with great possession. And afterwards they would come out with great possession. Now, Wait, could we be seeing prophets? Because in the history of mankind, nobody on the face of the earth has been taken out of their land and placed elsewhere. Archaeological findings has proven time and time that there is no story of Israel being enslaved in Egypt. And this whole story of Israel coming out of Egypt because the 400 years was over is not true.
In the shadow of the Great Pyramids of Giza, Egypt has displayed its latest archaeological discovery. Tombs more than 4,000 years old, said to belong to workers who built them. The modest 9-foot deep shafts encased in limestone were uncovered last week. They held a dozen skeletons of pyramid builders, perfectly preserved by dry desert sand. In addition to bones, the tombs also contain jars that once held beer and bread meant for the workers in their afterlife. Egypt's archaeology chief Zahi Hawass said they date to the 4th dynasty, around 2,500 years before Christ. He said the discovery could well be the most important of the 21st century, with their location a key element in dispelling a popular belief.
But the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders reconstruct history and tell us that the builders of the pyramids were Egyptians and the builder of the pyramids were not slaves, because they will be buried beside the pyramids, in the shadow of the pyramids.
Hawass said the manner of their burial and the fact that those who died during the construction were entombed so close to the pharaohs and the pyramids meant they were honored workers, not slaves. Karen Sloan, The Associated Press.
I'm saying some heavy stuff now. Listen, there is no findings. If there is yet to be a discovery of a people called Israel enslaved in Egypt, it is not yet here.
2,200 years ago, Egyptians made a surprising agreement on a sheet of papyrus. New research by the University of Copenhagen shows contracts, found in the sand where the desert town Tebtunis once was, indicate that poor Egyptians willingly exchanged their freedom for lifelong servitude.
So these people voluntarily chose a life as temple slaves, and according to the contracts, they even signed up their children and their grandchildren. I'm your servant with my children and the children of my children.
These papyri are the earliest well-documented examples of the phenomenon of voluntary slavery.
So most temple slaves would be engaged in agriculture one way or the other, and this is an example of what such a life might look like.
The contracts are in a Demotic script, an ancient Egyptian written language. While reading them, Kim Rielt makes a remarkable discovery.
This is a contract written for a young woman, and in line 5 it reads, "And I shall give to you 2.5 copper pieces as my slave fee every month." They not just volunteered for slavery, they even committed to paying a monthly fee.
But the purpose of the contracts was not only to make sure that the temple authorities would get their monthly fee, it was also the slaves' insurance, protecting them from something much worse in their daily duties at the temple.
We're dealing with people at the very bottom of the social hierarchy, and these are people who are eligible for forced labor. In order to avoid forced labor, these people could sign up as temple slaves and thus gain asylum in the ancient temples.
This opportunity contributes to our understanding of the social function of slavery.
Traditionally, slavery has been thought of as an institution that was forced upon people, but in this particular situation, we're dealing with people who voluntarily entered slavery through written contracts. For these people, choosing life as a temple slave was evidently the lesser of two evils.
Wait. Listen, I know what I'm saying is huge, and I know it's distracting things, but the only people that have been uprooted from their land and scattered is the African people. The only reason why we were uprooted and scattered is because we turned our back on the Most High. And this is all history. The Most High made a promise to Abraham. No, certainly it will happen that your people will live in a straight line, but in the end, they would come back. Wait. Does this make sense? Is this the reason why Ghana all of a sudden is fronting the year of return?
2019 marks 400 years since the first slave from Africa set foot in America. President Akufo-Addo has therefore declared 2019 as the year of return, with a call on people of African descent to return home. The president made this known at a colorful event at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Siajiman says the year has a lot of spiritual and cultural significance. The Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mrs. Catherine Afeku, indicated the Year of Return will mark the high point of the Panafest Festival, hence will be a year-long event. The Executive Director of Panafest Foundation, Rabi Kwan, said it is time for African Americans to bring back the wealth and skills they have acquired to help build Africa.
Ghana is the destination for Africa to be lifted up by Africans. People are interested in Africa, but they must not ignore the African. African people must be responsible for Africa.
President Akufo-Addo said marking 400 years of slavery should serve as a clarion call on Africans not to allow themselves to be exploited.
The most important consequences of all the activity we're here to initiate is that together on both sides of the Atlantic, we will work together to make sure that never again will we allow a handful of people with superior technology to walk into Africa, seize our peoples, and sell them into slavery.
The colorful event witnessed President Akufo-Addo receiving the Liberty Bell Award, the highest from the city of Philadelphia.
Wait, Ghana again? Why is Ghana always the first to rise to the occasion when it comes to the liberation of our people? The first African person that became the UN Secretary General to sort of work in that concept was Ghanaian, Kofi Annan. That's not even the point. I'm not trying to. That issue will come up later, but I'm sure something. The first president of any African country to fight for the liberation of the entire African continent was a Ghanaian president called Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Once again, the first president that is saying this is the year of return and all of our people need to come back home where you are taken from is once again, guess what nation? Ghana. Are we seeing the Most High using Ghana as a vessel of prophecy, as an instrument of prophecy to fulfill what he said to Abraham, which his actual name is Yalbrim, back to his own place? Mind you, the middle of it all
marks the 400th anniversary of the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade in the United States, where millions of Africans were kidnapped and taken to the Americas to be sold into slavery. While in captivity, Africans faced some of the most inhumane and brutal conditions imaginable. But one African country is reaching out to the descendants of those lost to offer them a path back to their ancestral home.
I'm walking on the ground, viewing at the moon, thinking about a short way to get there soon. I follow success to doom, cause life without it is like a house with no room. How you gonna get pregnant out without a womb? Working with no basis, the way that I was groomed. Blood suckers in my dream, God, where did I sin? You gotta go the bloody way to get there clean. Life is the wrong direction, cause we all heading to death. When I die, wherever I go, my soul accepts it. Whatever God decision is, I respect it. Cause I don't swim in the water, expecting not to be wet. And I don't run this race, expecting not to be fast. I know my good deed is enough for my soul. When the green switches, then I'm ready to go. Yeah, we're taking over. we T.O. And we all about the green taking over. Glow.
As I'm standing on this mountain, there's nothing that can push me down. As I'm standing on this mountain, there's nothing that can push me down, Lord.
I'm sitting all alone, thinking about this life. The past is going by. All the days I cry, and as the sun breaks the cold and the bitter nights, the day will come soon where everything will be alright. All the jealousy is really tearing me apart. All the love I gave never came into my heart. But if I lose you, it go coming like a knife. All I ever wanted was to have you in my life. Life is a storytelling, yeah, I'ma play a role. I only gave you the best that came from my soul. So tell me why you know they even care enough to try. I'm not supposed to say a word, so I blink an eye. Every time I come around, I hear another lie. I see you suffer a lot of pain, but you never cry. Why should I deny your life? How can I? I know go feed tell if you live or
Even
die.
the tears from Christ couldn't quench the hellfire. And now we're trying to come and use a bucket of water. We see things happen, but never saw what's coming. I'm seeing hard times, so I don't sleep snoring. Now I know why mama hated when the cocks are yelling. She always wishing for a wish to escape the morning. Life has always been a highway with no direction, and you might end up in snake hole looking for gold.
Take me away to another day. Let my body heal till I fall awake. Till I finally hear the angels sing Amazing Grace. Till I finally get my moms to a better place. Screaming silence of hell to my bedtime. Down on my knees praying for a lifetime. Yeah, I go hustle till I get mine. We T.O. Timeline.
I will be waiting. I will be waiting. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting. I will be waiting. Oh, no obstacle that is on my way is here to stay. 'Cause they shall be overcome. They shall be overcome. I will be waiting. I will be waiting. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting. I will be waiting. Oh, no obstacle that is on my way is here to stay. 'Cause they shall be overcome. They shall be overcome. I will be waiting. I will be waiting. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting there. I will be waiting. I will be waiting. Oh, no obstacle that is on my way.
Are we seeing prophecy unveiling right before our eyes? Are we seeing everything happening right before our noses? Are we taking action, or we are still confused? Or maybe someone will ask the question, how is it that we were here at one point and all of a sudden we are here? Well, I've got all the answers for you. Next week, on our next Identity Sunday, I'll bring you how these people that were in ancient Egypt landed here in Ghana, and how this whole story of people leaving Egypt as slaves, the Exodus story that they've portrayed and lied about, is false. Make sure you tune in next week to this Identity Sunday, and I will show you all these with evidences and not just talk. And these evidences are not I'm not the one creating evidences to show anybody. These are studies that are there, for all the way from Dr. Ben Yassif, who was one of the first students of this studies, all the way through Dr. Hammett, and all the great historians of our people have been saying the same thing. So I'm not the one bringing these findings out. The truth will indeed set you free. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm your humble servant, Kojo Bento. I'm excited to always do this. Make sure you subscribe, please. Let me make this a quick announcement. Can we see us get 200 subscribers this week? Can we see us get 200? I'm pleading with everybody who just watched this video and enjoyed it. Please make sure you make just one person subscribe to this channel, because the bigger we get, the more we can do something and not just talk. The more we can actually do something. Stay blessed. I love you guys. See you soon.
No obstacle that is on my way is here to stay. 'Cause they shall be overcome. They shall be overcome. No obstacle that is on my way is here to stay. 'Cause they shall be overcome. They shall be overcome.